For today's video, I'm here with Scott from Dad Leisure Skateboarding, and together we're gonna try and come up with what skate park we feel is the best, Ramp 1 or Graystones. So let's get into it. We're gonna compare these two great skate parks on 11 different criteria: stairs, rhythm section, big air foam pit, bowl, hips and A-frames, pump track, movable objects, flat banks and quarters, mini ramp, ledges and rails, and finally overall flow and layout. So let's kick things off with the stairs. Graystones only really has the one stair set to speak of, whereas Ramp 1 has many different stair sets of various heights and sizes. So I think Round 1 goes to Ramp 1. Rhythm section, I think this is another one that goes to Ramp 1. Rhythm section here has everything you need. It's big, bad and scary. Graystones does have a rhythm section, but it's not quite as big, so it has to go to Ramp 1. Big air and foam pit. This could have easily gone in with the rhythm section, but I needed 11 criteria and this was one I needed to use. Ramp 1 doesn't have one of these, so Graystones is a clear winner. Something else Ramp 1 doesn't have is a bowl. So again, obvious win for Graystones, as it's the only one of the two skate parks that has a bowl. Graystones has a nice selection of A-frames of various sizes. However, it doesn't have a hip, unlike Ramp 1. And I'm quite partial to skating a hip. I like a hip more than an A-frame for some strange reason. I'm not sure why, I just do. So for that reason, I'm giving this one to Ramp 1 simply because it has a hip. The pump track. This is a new feature at Graystones, and it's a very nice feature to warm up on at the beginning of a session or cool down on at the end of a session. It's just quite fun just to ride about and just loosen up the body before you get going on a full blown session. And this is again something that Ramp 1 just doesn't have. There's quite a few features what Graystones has and Ramp 1 just doesn't. And this is one of them. Movable objects. Now this is where Graystones really comes into its own. It has everything from quarter pipes to launch ramps to rails to mani pads / boxes, you name it, as a movable objects, Graystones has got it. And there's not many other skate parks that can compete with the movable objects of Graystones. Ramp 1 has a couple of movable objects, but nowhere near on the level of Graystones, and this is an easy win for Graystones, and the point goes to Graystones. Flat banks and quarters. These are the foundations of any skate park, and they link the whole place up, and without them the skate park would be nothing. So like the hips and A-frame section, Graystones is lacking in one of these. It has some great quarter pipes of various sizes and widths and heights and everything, and it is great if you just look at the quarter pipe section on its own, and probably would hands down beat ramp 1 if it was just based on quarter pipes alone. But we are adding flat banks into this section as well, and that is Graystone's downfall. It doesn't have a proper flat bank per se to speak of that you can really skate, unlike ramp 1. Ramp 1 has an amazing flat bank, as you can see here, and that alone is what is going to give ramp 1 the win on this section. Just the fact it has a really good, solid flat bank. Graystones, yeah, you can skate some of the A-frame parts and the start of the pump track as a flat bank, but they're not standalone flat banks, and you can also do that at ramp 1. So this is now where Scott from Dad Leisure comes in, because I'm a bit on the edge with both of these, with this question, both skate parks, the mini ramp. So which skate park do you think has better mini ramps, Scott?
It is a tough one. Graystone always used to struggle because there was no real mini ramp. It used to have the beginner section with quarter pipes at either end and some street stuff in the middle. Whereas obviously ramp 1 has two different size mini ramps. It's got the micro ramp, which is great for learning, but sometimes feels a little bit like cheating. And then you've got the bigger, I don't even know how high it is, about, what do you reckon, 4 foot? 3.5?
Yeah, probably 3.5, so maybe.
Which is so fast and so scary. It's not really that good for beginners. So to transition from the micro, where you feel like you're cheating, to this bigger ramp, you kind of want the middle ground, whereas now Graystone has their new one, which I've only skated once. Feels like that is the middle ground.
I have to agree with that. This skate park does also have the bigger one, as you'll have seen in the footage, but none of us skate that, let's be honest.
But what I will say about this, because I've been forced to skate this bigger one now, I feel like if you can skate this, you can skate anything. And I don't know whether that's true, it's how I feel now. Now I've kind of almost conquered it. The one at Graystone will be dead easy, and at other parts it should be easy. So I've learned to skate this as difficult as it is, but that should mean it opens up the easier ramps when I get there.
So you're saying ramp 1 has the better mini ramps? Because there is also the spined mini ramp at Graystones as well.
Yeah, but I never like that.
I know we don't skate it, but I'm just trying to think of like an overall, like, that has the spine one, which is better, but then this has the bigger one over that area, which is also better if you like that kind of thing, so it is really tough.
I'd say right now, I think Graystone has the better mini ramp, but I've not skated it for ages. I've only skated it once, and we're going to skate it tomorrow, so maybe it has to be again tomorrow.
So after testing out the Graystones ramp now and the ramp 1 ramps yesterday, what's the verdict? Still Graystones?
Every ramp's different is what I've learned, and even though this is a nice height with a, you know, a nice sort of flat bottom if you like, it's quite whippy. So going from ramp 1 to here, you've just got to readjust to the transition. But once you have, I do think it's more of a sensible ramp to skate and to learn on. It's just for me, at the moment, I'm still getting used to that transition, and coming back so fast, fakey, takes some getting used to, but it is a good ramp, I really like it.
So what I get from that is Graystones has the better mini ramp. And to be fair, I was always edging towards that way myself, just because of the spine on the other mini ramp in the other room. And this ramp just seems perfect, at least for me. And the spine in the other one just gives it a bit of variety. So this one goes to Graystones. So another one that's quite difficult to decide, the ledges and the rails. I have my own sort of opinion what I'm edging towards. I'm going to bring Scott in again, even though he don't skate many ledges and rails, just to get his opinion as well.
Yeah, well for me, I prefer the situation at Graystone because you've got, I don't know if you can show it Matt, but the movable
down
manual
here. The movable manny down there, which could come under the movable objects section, but again it is a ledge as well, so
but for me
it's on the both.
like the perfect introduction to skating ledges and rails if you like, because it's got that round coping on the edge as well.
And if you guys can tell the round coping there, try and zoom in. Round coping.
For me as a beginner at ramp 1, everything's too high for me to ollie onto, even though my ollie is high enough, it's just too, it's different when you're trying to get onto a ledge. Whereas Graystone's got this. Ramp 1 does have something similar, but it's in the middle of the street plaza, you're always in someone's way, the run-up's not perfect, whereas that movable one, you can move it wherever you want, and it's in a corner where no one else skates, so you can just come and do it at your own pace and however you want to do it. So for me, as a beginner, it's better here, but as an intermediate or a better skater, Ramp 1's probably got more of a ledge situation.
Yeah, I hear what he says about the beginner bit, and that is exactly correct. We're trying to go as a whole here, and even Scott says there's probably more variety at Ramp 1. So everything Scott just said I'm going to completely ignore and we're going to go with Ramp 1 as the winner for this one. So, overall layout and flow of the skate parks. Now, this is a tricky one because they're both totally different. Ramp 1 is great because it has a good straight linear flow where you can get tricks on a couple of obstacles all in a row because it's long, and if you're in for that then you're having a big group session, and that is amazing. But if you had a solo session and you had to try and be out of the way, Graystones is more long, and it has little sections that are off the main area, so that is good in that respect. So it all depends, I think, what session you're going for, to which skate park is better, flow and layout wise, in my opinion. But I'm going to bring Scott in for one final time to see what his verdict is on the two skate parks, because for me they were tied off all the other rounds and this was meant to be the decider, and I can't really break them apart. So take it away.
Well, for me, I'd say Graystone's great as an absolute beginner because, like Matt said, you've got the movable objects, you've got loads of small quarter pipes and little bits and pieces just to get yourself going that's tucked away from the main skate park. But then once you get to sort of your bigger ramps and things, Ramp 1 maybe has more variety and more options. The great thing about Ramp 1 as well is its opening times. So Ramp 1 is open from 9 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night, 7 days a week. So it's great because I skate during the day and a few of the other adult skaters do. If you don't want scooter kids and whatever knocking about, we get there 9 o'clock on a Tuesday morning and we're the only ones there. It's amazing. But also on top of that is the price. So Ramp 1 for £11 you get 3 hours, whereas Graystone £11 will only get you 2 hours. So for that reason I'd say Ramp 1 maybe tips it.
I think that is probably the only way of separating the two, because as I said they are very similar. Well, they're not similar, they're very different. So they're good for different purposes, so it makes them very similar in like stature of which one's best. It's hard to judge, and like Scott said, the opening times and price is probably the only way to separate them. So in truth, it's probably a draw, and we are very lucky to have both of them in such a great area. But if you take the price and the opening times into consideration, ramp 1 just about edges it. But all in all, it depends what session you want, what kind of objects you want to skate, and in truth, they are both great skate parks. So go and check them both out, and maybe we'll catch you there one day soon. See you in a bit, guys.